So we're here in Restaurant Story with my mate Tom Phillips.
Yeah.
And it's great to be back.
It's great to have you.
Yeah, thanks man, thanks for seeing us. And we're just here to just chat about your food and the restaurant and, where you've come from, where it's all going. And just looking forward to getting into it.
Yeah, no.
Let's just start off by telling me your history and where you've come up from and how you got to where you are.
Sure. So I was born in South Wales. Kind of fell into cooking a little bit. I think like most chefs do, really. You kind of just end up doing it, don't you? I was hated. Well, I enjoyed school, but being dyslexic, kind of hated it at the same time. I just thought that the notion of working in an office just wasn't for me at all. Working as a waiter, then as a chef in a couple of little restaurants, and it went on from there really. I ended up doing an apprenticeship at the Ritz through Bournemouth and Poole College, which was an amazing apprenticeship scheme. So I went to the Ritz when I was 18, or just turning 18. Did my apprenticeship, stayed on for a little bit, and then I ended up moving to New York after that. So I went and worked at Per Se. Thomas Keller, I was there for 2 years. Had a little stab at Paris after New York. Hated it.
Really?
Wasn't for me.
Why did you hate it so much?
I just had to say this and be polite about it. It just the whole atmosphere of the restaurant that I went to. I think it was. I had a vision of what I thought working in Paris as a young chef would be, and it kind of lived up to all that, more the negative sides of it than anything. And
really?
It just felt like a bit of a waste. Felt like a bit of a waste of time, like I wasn't going to progress.
That's interesting. What made you think that you weren't going to progress? Why was it wasteful? You think that you'd be soaking up the culture, you'd be soaking up sort of the history, the heritage, and so why did the negative sides and not the positive sides sort of?
Well, it's more, I went there. I didn't speak French. I went to a 3-star kitchen. It was better that, yeah, better that. It was more. I just come back from Per Se that was just so like meticulous and like beautiful to work in. That's the best way to say it. Like, it was just an amazing environment to be in with amazing people that all pushed for a single goal, And then you go to a very archaic, old school kitchen that was almost a lot of just button heads and heads. And it was, I'd go in and I'd finish my jobs and I'd be like, do you want some help? In my broken French. And they'd be like, no, not from you. Or whatever. And I'd be like, cool, well, if I'm just going to stand here and be on my section doing nothing else other than these 5 jobs every single day, then I'm not going to learn anything, so why waste a year doing it? So I left that pretty swiftly and managed to get a position up at L'Enclume with Simon. I was with Simon for a year and a half, bit more than a year and a half I think it was, and then I just missed London really. It's brilliant living up in the lakes, but I did miss the hustle and bustle of the city, I was put in contact with Tom and came and met him. We had lunch together and it went on from there really.
Wow. What position did you join as when you started?
At Story?
Yeah.
Sous.
Okay.
So it was my first sous chef position as well.
Wow.
So I came as
Did they have stars at the time?
One, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Tom had one. He gained his first star straight after opening. So opened in 2013 and within 5 months I think it was, gained his first star.
Wow.
Yeah, and now I joined 5 years after that, so restaurant's 10 years old now, or 10 years in April, I think it is. And then, I joined 5 years ago.
Amazing. So, and then you progressed just within the organisation?
Yeah.
And now you're exec?
Exec, yeah.
Yeah.
So sous chef, head chef, and now exec chef, yeah.
Fantastic. And where we are now in the restaurant certainly isn't the end of the story, is it, shall we say?
Yeah, no, it's not the end of the story. Just kind of the beginning of the next chapter, I think we sort of say here. It's
because as we sit here, we're actually going to close in about 2 weeks, aren't you?
Not far off, yeah, 2 weeks. 2 weeks, the restaurant's closing. Planned, not even renovations now, it's complete rebuild almost. It's something that Tom has envisioned for a long time and wanted to do. We had it all planned out. That summer COVID hit. So planning permission was everything was set in, and then COVID hit and we had to postpone.
Can I jump in and ask a question about that? Because COVID scuppered a lot of plans. It certainly has with us. We had projects that we wanted to do that we kind of had to can or put on hold. Do you think that doing the project now is actually better than doing it when you planned it?
100%. I think that initial stage, we were obviously very excited about it. Not that it was rushed or anything, but it definitely had this break. We've managed to cross a lot more T's and dot a lot more I's with it and really think about what we're doing. So I think we're far better along now than we were when we were looking at doing it initially. I haven't even said what it is yet, have I? So it's a whole new floor. Yeah. So Restaurant Story is going to be going over another level.
And that's going to give you some more capacity, is it?
Yeah, more capacity, another kitchen. I think it's just, like I said, Story's 10 years old now, and we kind of feel that we've maximised what we can do with the space that we have. We're a restaurant that we always want to elevate what we do. I'm mainly from a guest perspective. We just want to better what we can give guests, and we're kind of at our point now with the space. We need a bit more space. And from a dining experience, I think one big thing that we always want to focus on is, like, we're straight to table here. We don't have any bar. There's nowhere you can have a drink or before or after your meal, and that's something we're going to incorporate with upstairs, that we can have that sort of, if you want to hang out for another hour afterwards and have a cocktail, then cigar or something like that, then you can do that afterwards.
But the way your position here is quite interesting, because we've got the curtains up now, where we were looking at these pretty cool blinds, I suppose, not curtains. They electronically go up and down in different amounts depending on where the sun's setting.
Yeah.
Because the view out the side or the front, amazing. I suppose, is pretty cool, isn't it? So obviously you've taken care of that with this, but when you get the roof terrace upstairs, that's going to be a little bit more, like, gets people out into that amazing view. You can straight away see the Shard and all the way down the road. It's really nice, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean that's straight down there. The sun sets literally just by the Shard there, so especially in the summer when you sat here, it is an amazing little view to stare out to.
And some people might want to nick out for a sneaky fag as well.
Some people might want to nick out for and they can.
Well, why not,
Yeah, exactly, on a lovely balcony.
Yeah, and enjoy yourself. That's lovely. Yeah, great. So you're going to close for how long?
I mean, we've got a date in mind. I think it'll be the later end of the year that we reopen, sort of,
So like 9 months roughly?
Yeah, well, yeah, September, October, November.
6 to 9.
6 to 9 months. Giving ourselves a little bit of play with it. And then, we're expanding, the group's expanding. So Tom he's had this vision of a little, I mean, we're calling it a chicken shop, but it's not, it's a wine bar.
But you're selling chicken.
But we are selling, there's a main thing, and, seeing it come together now, I think it's going to be a brilliant little site. So it's a wine bar, but kind of based around like a very Parisian sort of cafe, really. It's wine-focused, tabletop, casual dining, rotisserie, open grill, rotisserie chickens, which when we first spoke about it, I didn't see the vision, I didn't get it. Now it coming together, we went to see the rotisserie and the grill that we designed yesterday, and Stephen, who's my sous chef here, who is going to head it up there as the head chef in his first head chef position, which I'm really excited for him. Me and him went down and we cooked the chicken on there, and it's just bloody delicious. So I think it's going to be a great little
grill setup coming in.
Yeah, all bespoke to fit in. The whole idea is that as you walk through that door, the first thing you see as a guest is that rotisserie, just those chickens going around. And I saw it yesterday, I thought, fuck, shit, we're going to sell a lot more chickens than I think we anticipated to begin with, just when you see it going, because it looks bloody delicious and smells incredible. So
great, yeah, well,
it's going to be really good.
I think who doesn't like chicken who's not vegetarian?
Yeah, exactly.
So that's great. So, but we're not here to talk about chickens.
No.
We're here to talk about the food that we're going to put up today. So just tell us a little bit about the dishes that we're going to be cooking up today.
So the two dishes, one hot, one cold. One has been on the menu in various forms for quite a while now, and it's one of the first products I think actually we took from you when we did that initial tasting. It's something that really stood out, which is...
Yeah, because we were sat around these tables here, and we're thinking, because I brought too much stuff.
It was quite a lot.
It was just spilling off the tables. But we had quite a big team. You had quite a big team in the time.
Yeah, there's a lot,
10, 15 people.
Yeah.
It was great, though. It was really sort of interactive. We were moving things around and we were having a good chat, weren't we? It was a nice experience.
No, it was great. And it was a real dive into the unknown, especially for me, being introduced to a lot of products I hadn't seen before, which was pretty awesome. But it was the EXO.
Oh yeah,
that stood out.
Which is technically not a Japanese product.
Which is technically not.
But this one is made in Japan.
Yes.
Hong Kong product.
Yes.
Shipped over to England and put in a London restaurant.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, it is a journey. But it was something that just stood out as an incredible ingredient to be using. And we came up with a dish for oysters. So initially it was oysters and chicken fat. And then using that EXO sauce to make a butter sauce. And it's progressed now to a plated dish that's poached oysters. a little play on what started off as petit pois à la française, you know, so barbecued peas picked up with what would have been lettuce in a chicken velouté. We started with, we flipped between a few different ingredients depending on season. So at the minute we're using green beans, so barbecue green beans, but we're using seaweeds, so then English seaweeds. So we use sea beet and sea lettuce that we then cooked in that chicken velouté. We've then got poached oysters and roasted chicken oysters.
Right.
Yeah, so oysters and oysters.
Yes.
So they're braised and roasted, and then the XO butter sauce with a chili chicken fat as well, and finger lime.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's, you know, it's something that I don't even want to take it off the menu at the minute. I think it's pretty banging.
It's quite an interesting sort of combination of ingredients, isn't it? Really, like you know, I'm not a chef. I've ate a lot of nice food, but I'm not a chef, so there's no way I would have come up with that.
Yeah.
But it does sound really interesting.
It's one of those dishes that's just evolved, you know, and it's evolved over, like I said, it started with just oysters and the XO sauce. That's where we wanted to go with it. Finger limes, it needed acid. That little pop of acidity from finger limes is just works really, really well with it. And as we progress for it to be a slightly bigger dish is where we are now.
A bit more meaty.
Yeah, a bit more meaty. And, you know, it was, when we did it with just the oysters, it was in an oyster shell, it was never enough. We always wanted two, so
right, okay.
I had to make it a little bit bigger.
It's nice when a dish becomes two dishes.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you want more of it.
Yeah. That's the plan. And then we're going to be looking at a cured halibut dish as well, with a plum sauce and caviar.
Nice. And what are you curing the fish in?
It's cured in kombu and citrus.
Okay.
So kombu and citrus cure, and then the sauce we make a koju with fermented chilies and citrus zest,
Nice.
and then we make that with the into the plum sauce as well. So that's around the plate. Fresh plums, the fish, and caviar. Quite simple, but very fresh and
quite luxurious as well, right?
luxurious,
Yeah,
yeah.
which is great. Wow. I mean, it looks amazing. So, I kind of don't want to smash into it, but I do. But so let's just recap what we've got going off.
yeah. So it's oysters and chicken oysters. That's how we call it. So underneath we've got some barbecue green beans.
When we say chicken oysters, we mean
that little
yeah,
that you want to fight over, the best bit of the chicken, I say. Yeah.
Really tender, isn't it?
Super tender. We've got some barbecue green beans, and then a little fricassee of sea beet and salted sea lettuce. Then we've got the poached oysters, roasted chicken oysters, a butter sauce using XO, and pickled dulse, pickled in white soy, and a little bit of vinegar, and then some more sea beet going through that. Finish with a little bit of finger lime and a chili chicken fat.
So can I tell them the secret? What's in the chili chicken fat?
Yeah, you can.
It's the infamous chili crack, isn't
chili
it?
crack, yeah.
It gets
We
everywhere.
had to use it. It was banging.
Chicken in the chili crack is...
Yeah, and all that is just chicken skin that we render down, one of those jars over it,
Yeah.
cook it out for an hour or two, and
If it tastes good, it tastes good.
it tastes good. Yeah.
Great, okay. Should we give it a try?
Please do,
What do you
yeah.
recommend first? Should we go oyster first, or is it just free for all?
Get in there, free for all.
Okay, I'm going to go for the oyster. Great. Okay. The finger limes are really... You need that, don't you? It's obviously got that lovely, rich, buttery sauce, which got a really interesting consistency. And all those different sort of sea flavours, but sea vegetable flavours.
Yeah.
Not sea food flavours, really do stand out. And obviously the oyster gives you the sea, sort of like the shellfish sort of flavour.
That hint of char from the barbecue as well.
Yeah, and then the finger lime's a little bit of genius, isn't it? Because it would be nice without that.
Yeah.
It would be fine without that. But then those little bangs, and they're still going off in my mouth now. I'm going to try the chicken.
Get in there.
See, that's the other side of the coin, isn't it? Okay, man, I'm wearing half of it though. Let's deal with that
It's a
first.
good sign. Good sign.
Okay, great, let's go for it. It is like a two-parter. But you know, when you were saying before about how people, you want it almost like a double portion with that.
Yeah.
So you can go oyster, chicken, and whatever. But yeah, wow, it's amazing. And then the sauce on its own is just fab, isn't it? That's absolutely delicious. So you're talking about like the kombu curing. That's like one thing that I'm sort of like trying to tell everyone to do, because it's just doesn't taste like Japanese food, but just makes it taste better, doesn't it?
Yeah. It just
so
gives it
how do you do your kombu sort of curing? How are you doing that?
It's quite simple. You know, we make it's salt, sugar, the citrus zest, and fresh kombu. That we.
Do you soak it first?
Yeah, soak it and then we blend it or chop it fine.
Oh, okay.
Blend the salt and the sugar, the zest and that, and then we just sit it over. So it's quite coarse.
That's interesting.
And again, depending on the thickness of the fish, for how long, but between 20 and 40 minutes really.
Okay.
You know, quite quick, and we do it fresh every day.
Oh, nice. Yeah. The kombu just adds that sort of like real sea flavour. The problem is because like obviously we're in this fine dining world. People have eaten. You know, you've cooked all over the world. You know good food. But I think in Britain in general, people are not quite attuned to eating fish. Which like the Japanese can't get their head around. Yeah. So like we live on an island, yet most people don't eat that much fish. And when people think things taste of the sea, they think it tastes fishy. And what fishy means is gone off fish. So like to get flavour of fish and to actually enhance flavour of fish without it tasting fishy, it's like I haven't got the words in English really.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean.
It's a problem for like British people to deal with that, but the kombu is a really good one because you can get the flavour of the sea and intensify the flavour of the fish without the negative connotations of that, shall we say?
Yeah. It's even like aging fish. You know, when I was a young chef, I saw aging fish. I thought, no,
you don't want to do that.
You don't want to do that. You can't do that. It's got to be
fresher the better.
Yeah, but it's not the case. You know, and it is about. It's how you develop flavour. It's how you introduce flavour into it. You know, and it cooks better.
It's like hanging meat, isn't it? It's
absolutely.
Just, you know, you can do something with developing flavour. I mean, another way to use the kombu for curing is the thing called kombujime, where you obviously have the wet kombu in the first place, but you wash the fish and then you sort of brush it with cooking sake, and then you sort of wrap it in the kombu, and then you sort of store it. You can store it for anything from like 1 to 5 days. And what happens is the sort of like the flavours of the sea and the kombu go into the fish, and then you get all the sort of glutamates and all the umami going into the fish. Yeah. And what happens is the fish, the kombu sort of extracts the nasty parts of like the fishiness, shall we say, and then you end up with a different texture and just more intense flavour of the positive flavours of the halibut or the cod or whatever you're talking about. So that's an interesting way that people have been using it.
And it's something I really want to work on. You know, we did obsessions. Me and Tom did obsessions the other day, and we were cooking our we did turbo, and we were cooking it in fresh sea kelp, in fresh kelp that we got from it's British, but it's something that it was a fairly new thing for us to do. I know it's not new in cooking or anything like that, but it's not something we've done at the restaurant many times before, but it made us think. We did it, and we were like, yeah, let's actually put some time into working out how we can do this in a great way. So aging it in it and then cooking it might be something that we look at for sure.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
So this is like, you know, we're in a 2-star restaurant, all this experience of people who've cooked all over the world like yourself, and yet still going down a journey of improvement. And you know, we were chatting off camera about the concept in Japan of the shokunin, which is the artisan who's already like what would be considered a master of his craft in food, but he's still humble enough to realise that he doesn't know anything and he's still got to keep progressing.
Yeah, I think that's like anything in food, isn't it? Like anybody who says they know everything in food is just a bloody lie, aren't they? They don't, do they? You know, and it's like every day is a school day, and you know, anybody can teach you anything. From, you know, one of my commies can walk through the door and they can teach me something that they've done in a restaurant. You know, just because they're a low position in the kitchen doesn't mean that I know more than them, because they've had a completely different depth and wealth of experience than I have, you know. And I think it's a really great way to look, so that you can learn from everyone and anyone, you know. Learn from our SOMs every day, or Dovley, our restaurant manager, teaches me things about service every day, you know. And it's we try and just be very open with how we look at things. And
I think that obviously France, like you said, you wanted to go to Paris because that was a culinary sort of like capital of the world.
Almost,
pilgrimage. Yeah. But what I'm getting from chefs the more I talk to them is that they all want to go to Japan. and they all want to sort of get their head into it. They don't want to live there. They don't want to like become Japanese chefs.
Yeah.
But it's like you don't want to become a French chef. You want to learn from a really deep food culture and then bring that back. And for my passion is to make. I want British food to be the best it can, and you're part of Bacchus, aren't you? And the British team, and that's all about pushing British food forward. And,
absolutely.
You've done fantastically this year. Come 7th, which is like one of the best. Is it the best?
4th is the best. We came in 2015, but 7th is up there.
Yeah, and they're up there. I mean, Japan was only 12th.
Yeah.
So that's something. But it's for me. My passion is that let's get British food the best it can be, and it really is an amazing position now, British food, isn't it?
No, it is. Yeah, no, 100%. I think, and this is what we say, it is. Well, arguably one of the most, and not just London either. I was thinking about this the other day, and like the Good Food Guide, for example. I remember being at the awards for the Good Food Guide, and the amount of restaurants that were called out on that list in the top 20, top 10, top whatever, that weren't in London. And I thought that was brilliant.
What do you think's driving that?
I think it's a lot of things. I think how diverse. I think it's an age group now where a lot of these chefs have, they've cut their teeth in great restaurants, whether that's in London or around the world, and they've gone to where they grew up. They've gone back home to or to similar areas to where they grew up and have put in their trade to that. London's a hard industry to break into, especially opening a restaurant. If you don't have a background, or a name to go with that, London's a really hard market to tap into. So I think there's a lot of chefs that are going out and tapping into these untapped markets, where people are going, whether that's Southwest Wales, West Wales, North Wales, and doing incredibly well. And it's great that they're getting recognition for what they're doing there, and people are going there, and they're building destination restaurants.
Do you think that social media and the internet has actually allowed, trying to think of something positive about these things, it's allowed people to have an idea about what's going off in these serious like culinary capitals like London, and then bringing those learnings out, and also staying in contact. Like I know loads of chefs from Wales and Sheffield and Leeds and stuff like that, and they're in regular contact with their friends in London. It's almost like become a network of chefs nationally, whereas in the past, if you were out in, Sunderland, you never interacted with anyone from London. Yeah,
well, I think that's also happened, like even on a global scale, that's happened with social media. Like 10, 15 years ago, when Instagram wasn't a thing, chefs stuck to your restaurant. You didn't share anything, you didn't show anything. The only way you learn about something is if you went and ate there. You didn't know about the recipe, and now everything's in your face. Everything's and people are more open to sharing and teaching, which I think is a good thing. Because it just produces better food and better chefs. The more we share, the more you learn, the more that other restaurant learns. They become better, which means we have to become better, and everything else. It just to add on to that as well. I think dining culture's changed in this country.
Okay.
I think food has become a lot more important to people. I think it's something that we definitely saw here after COVID, where I remember initially after COVID, I saw a bit of a change in our customer base, especially from an age perspective.
That's interesting.
A lot younger diners coming through. And I'd speak to them and it would say like, pre-COVID, we eat out a lot. We live in London and have an amount of disposable money to eat out when we want, maybe 2 or 3 or 4 times a week. But we'd go to like a local pub or that local chain restaurant. After COVID, we realised that what we were missing was an experience, and we'd rather save up for that week or that 2 or that 3 weeks or that month or whatever, and come somewhere that is an experience and spend that little bit more money on the water wine pairing or
maybe they can learn something as well as a customer.
But that's it, and how many people now are super into cooking at home, following recipe books and following, whether it's sous vide cooking or anything like that, and have all the tech and tools at home and getting into it, and it's I think that's great as well.
We sold loads of cornrows to home users during lockdown. You think how many people are making yakitori in the back garden now? It's great though, isn't it? I just think people have gotten away. They had to cook at home, and many restaurants had to pivot to doing restaurant boxes.
No, exactly.
We had to pivot from supplying just restaurants, or mainly restaurants should I say, to mainly home users. And you just got to do what you got to do, haven't you? But those people are now coming back. Also, you talk about the young people. When I was 15, I wasn't going to Nando's. I was you know, like most people were drinking cider in a bus shelter.
Yeah.
So that, you know, just going out to Nando's at 15 is a massive change.
Yeah.
It really is. Talking about, obviously, you've got British food and you're sort of integrating a lot of your worldview into that, and you're integrating some of our Japanese ingredients into that as well. So do you think that Japanese cooking techniques and produce in British cuisine is just another fad that's going to be here and gone tomorrow? Or do you think it's an evolution of where things are going?
Yeah, I don't think it's a fad at all. I think it's definitely fashionable now, isn't it? It's definitely the new thing that everyone's looking at, but there's a reason for it, you know, because we can learn from it in a very good way. And I think it's like what we want to do here, and how we sort of operate is we'll start to learn, you know, and I want to be exposed to it.
But that is committing your time, isn't it?
Absolutely, but that's how we grow and be better chefs, right? Or better individuals. And I'm not going to turn this in and all of a sudden start, you know, saying that we're a Japanese restaurant here in any way, but definitely we can learn and evolve and then cherry pick what suits us and actually what makes us a better restaurant from that knowledge, or whether it is that technique, that cooking method, or that ingredient, or that little special way of seasoning something that, you know, it may only be small, but for us it elevates our food in a big way.
Yeah, it allows you in the future to call on another palette of techniques, experiences, and flavors that as you're developing all these different concepts and different dishes, like it just expands your horizons, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like, I've spent a lot of time in Japan, but what that gives me is a good eye on England and Britain from outside, and I think, we could do this better, all right. Oh, this is what we really do well. I think what Japanese people, certainly in the food industry, do really well is long-term projects. And when I say long-term, we've got a sake supply that's almost 600 years old. So they've been doing the same thing for 600 years. Yeah. But the evolution is happening, but it's over a very slow time, and it's in a very sort of narrow way. But what you get from that is beautiful products. We don't have that, but what we do have is, I would say, one of the best set of innovative minds in the world. And when you marry those two things together, you get something really cool, actually.
Absolutely. You know, look at the British coastline. Look at the amount of seaweeds that we have that are incredible, that mirror a lot of the things that they have in Japan that we don't utilize on a mass scale because it's not seen in our food chain as an ingredient that should be used.
Do you think the TV shows like Great British Menu, etc., are adding to sort of the culture and awareness of good food, or are they sort of like gamifying it and just being like an entertainment show?
I think a bit of both. I think there's definitely shows out there that do back what we've been saying and push that, and I think there are shows that are just there for entertainment values, but I think that there's definitely a position where they could do a lot more or say a lot more than they do about it, you know. Let's make a cooking competition that is solely about seasonality, that's solely about microclimates of different regions, you know, and gaining people that knowledge about it, you know.
Yeah, they could do with shoehorning a bit more like deep knowledge. I mean, obviously we're biased because we're in the food industry, but you know, they could do with just like a little bit of education in there as well, just sort of like, not just, you know, is he going to stir the sauce in time? Yeah,
making fake, you know,
peril,
over some butter over foaming in a pan.
He's gonna have to do it again.
Yeah, exactly. No, and do a bit more of a competition that's around gaining knowledge over different areas of the UK, or putting spotlight on an area, you know. Yeah. Rather than just saying
producers.
That this, you know, this person is from Wales, and they're using British Welsh ingredients. Okay, cool. Well, do a little bit of the episode on that producer, you know,
or maybe a cheese producer, like this is why it's good, and then like maybe blow up that area for like consumers wanting to try that local food, help the tourism in that area. So our warehouse is actually right on the edge of Sheffield, right near the woods. It was actually on the site of the old tank factory. That's why it's called Churchill Way. Okay. And there was a tank actually on the thing, but it's all covered in bomb holes around the area. It's like a wood, and there's loads of unexploded bombs until... they were still there when I was a kid. But I think they're all gone. But you can go walking in the wood outside our warehouse, and sometimes it smells like wild garlic because, of course, it's full of wild garlic. But no one knows to pick it. So like if you went for a walk into your woods, wherever you live in the UK, do you know what's good when? Like foraging for mushrooms in France, for example, people do that, you know. And I think we need a bit more of an awareness of our own environment and what's good when, you know.
For sure.
I don't grow them. They grow naturally. Blackberries just outside my house, and there's loads of them, and no one picks them. They just rot. Yeah. It's nuts, isn't it?
Yeah, no one will pick them, and then they'll spend £4.50 on a shit punnet in the supermarket for them.
Should we have a go at cooking some food?
Yeah, I think we should. Yeah,
let's do it.
That. Yeah.
That's pretty elegant, isn't it? Wow, that's amazing. Okay, let's have a bit of a recap of what we have here.
So we've got the kombu cured halibut.
Yep.
With plum ponzu sauce from fresh plums. Going to be serving it with caviar. So the ponzu is made with fresh plums, katsuobushi, rice wine vinegar, mirin, and a light soy sauce as well.
Okay.
And then a koji that we make with the fermented chili and citrus zest. Nice.
I like the white soy sauce with a light fish like this. I think obviously you don't get the coloration, but you've also got the salt level is higher, but obviously you're going to use it in moderation. So I really like the white soy with that, and I guess the mirin's going to give you some sweetness.
That's where we balance it.
And there's ginger oil as well.
And and a cooked ginger oil that we've just seasoned the top of the fish with, and just ever so slightly split the sauce with as well.
Fabulous.
And then we're going to top it with this.
The good stuff.
The good stuff, yeah. So this is an aged Kaluga.
I don't know if you can see this on the camera, but they've got like a bespoke design for the top, which is a beautiful bit of artwork in itself.
Yeah.
It's all about the details, isn't it?
Yeah, Story and Tom in particular has got a really great relationship with the Connor brothers, who do a lot of our artwork for the restaurant, and this is something new that they've done for us, which we only just got a couple of weeks ago now.
And is the artwork only on the tin of the caviar?
This is, yeah.
Wow, I mean, the level of effort on the details is pretty astonishing.
Thank you.
Okay, that looks fantastic. Wow, okay, so spoon and fork?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to have to try the caviar on its own, just to sample your little bespoke caviar, see what that is.
So it's 4.5 month age.
Oof.
2%.
That's delicious.
Super creamy. Yeah.
Oh, really good. Okay, let's try in context. So these are little slices of the plum.
Yeah. Just for freshness to it, really.
And the plum juice is in the ponzu.
Yeah, so it's just blended. So we take fresh plums and all the skin on everything, no seeds or pips, and then just lightly blend it.
Okay.
And then let that hang with all the mirin and everything else. That's what gives it its ever so slight colour as well.
Yeah, lovely. That's right on my street, that. That's absolutely delicious. I mean, again, I'm biased with the ponzu, but you know, ponzu to most people think it's like yuzu, katsuobushi, soy sauce, and there's a bit of vinegar in there as well usually. So, but actually, ponzu can be anything as long as it does 4 things. It's any citrus, any salty solution. So you can have salt and water if you wanted. Any vinegar, and any stock. So you've kind of gone around that. You've got the stock from your katsuobushi, but you've got your citrus from plums, which is really interesting. And you could argue the ginger adds a bit of that to that as well.
Yeah, for sure.
You've got rice vinegar, but you've sort of sweetened it off a little bit with like a hon mirin as well.
Yeah, with the mirin. Tiny bit of sugar in there as well.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Wow. I mean, this is delicious. I'm almost a bit annoyed that I'm sharing it with you.
I'll let you have the bigger bit. And then the caviar in it, I think, just brings a nice little fattiness to it as well.
Obviously, you got the luxury of that, but you're right. It's not just for show. I've had a few dishes that have got caviar on them, and I've kind of like it's for luxury, but is it part of the dish? And I often like want to just try the caviar on its own, rather than having it with the dish. And if it is part of the dish, like I think this is really well integrated into it. I don't feel so bad about not just having it on its own. So that's a good sign.
No, it's good. And this is what we've done with this age on it. It is really buttery. Quite almost a mellow flavour to it. A little bit nutty, but very, very buttery and rich. You can play with so many different things with it. Salt percentage, time on salt, all of it will affect how it comes out. Yeah.
It's like we're talking about with the aging fish. You wouldn't think that aging fish eggs would be a good thing.
Yeah.
But it is. So this is about 5 months, did you say?
Four and a half, sorry.
Okay, yeah, fine. Good stuff. So one thing we haven't touched on, which we ought to touch on, is like Restaurant Story. Why is it called Restaurant Story?
Yeah. Well, when it opened, so the restaurant looked very different to this. And Tom's whole concept when it opened was to tell his story through food of his life, you know. And it was quite a quirky start. That back wall used to be a window. There used to be a window there and a bookcase, a huge bookcase, and everybody was invited to bring a book with them and leave a book, you know, to leave part of the story behind when they've dined. And every dish that we do has a story to it. I suppose as we've developed and the food in the restaurant's kind of evolved and grown up a little bit, it's what we say that it grew up, it matured a little bit. Mm-hmm. Not that I was immature or anything like that, but just as it evolved. Not every single dish that we do has a huge spiel around it. There's certain things that there's a lot of original dishes from early on its story that are still there, that are part of Tom's identity and his, you know, childhood, that we still have on, beef dripping candles, things like that. And then other things we have on, you know, sometimes a dish doesn't always have a story to do exactly why, you know, this didn't come from a memory or anything like this, but this was an evolvement of, you know, my head chef Danny had a big part of this, where we wanted to bring this sous and bring in the ponzu together for it, you know, and then the story behind the relationship with the Connor brothers for the caviar and what we wanted to do there. So it's, yeah, I mean, story has so many different little ways of going around telling a story, you know, where we started off with every single dish came from a memory or something like that. Now it's more everything that we do, there's a reason why we do it, and there's a reason behind it. It's the story that we try to tell.
So it started off being Tom's story, and now it's the team's story.
Absolutely, yeah, for sure. And I think that's just how it naturally progresses, and, you know, and the story of the restaurant and everybody in it.
Yeah.
I mean, we've been working together now for
3 years.
3 years,
roughly.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
And I think we've had a nice evolvement from taking one or two products and now taking several things now, and a few things that are
off with just a chat, didn't it? And like, here's what some real Japanese produce is.
Yeah, like I said, that
stick it in your mind.
Yeah, that initial tasting, that initial conversation was a real introduction to a whole wealth of things that I'd never really tasted or kind of experienced before. A lot of it, and now a lot of it's become staples in what we do and what we use here. You know, and I'm excited. You know, you've got a lot of things coming up that you tell me about, that you're bringing in a lot of projects. I'm not going to say anything, but I think it's really exciting that as you progress and grow your business and your knowledge of, you know, this industry and this cuisine, it only broadens what we do and strengthens what we do. You know, and not all of it is right for what we do at Story, but like we said before, you know, we'll sift through it and we'll pick out a few things that are, you know, super special, that really coincide what we want to do here and how we want to grow. And so as you grow and you become better at what you do, it only benefits us and other restaurants around. But, you know, yeah, I'm excited to see what you're going to bring that we can have a play with, really.
Yeah, it's interesting because, like, I'm looking at your counter, I suppose you could say there, and the amount of things you've got pickling and curing, and I bet they're not all on the menu all at once.
No.
Yeah, so it's like what we're trying to do, or what I'm certainly pushing for with our company, is that we want to, like, just bring as much of a palette of paints and just say, like, this is what colours are available, what do you want to do with it? And then it doesn't have to, you know, like, it's not there all the time. It's like, okay, we've got this dish coming up, and do you know what would be good? But it's that conversation, isn't it, where you need to know what's there for maybe 5 years down the line. You go, do you know what? Bang.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Learning and just learning and growing.
Yeah. Do you think that the sort of the history and the sort of like the culture and the story of the produce that you put on the plate, like, obviously Japanese produce, especially stuff that we do, is usually quite old companies and families who are making these things, and they're bringing lots and lots of heritage into the product, which then obviously gets brought across to the chef.
Yeah.
So that's something that's important as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that, you know, the story's never more important than the product itself, obviously. if the product's spot on and banging and we want to use it and it has an amazing background and story to go with it. And I think it's our job as well to tell that story. You know, we like a spiel, you know, we like to explain what's in the dish. We don't just do a drop and run.
Well, this is where the restaurants become, I suppose, more of for people in general, more of an experience.
Yeah.
And the food is obviously super important, and the food's got to be like, you know, unbeatable. But they're not just coming to eat, are they? They're coming to have, you know, they're coming to sort of like have their eyes opened about things.
And maybe learn about something. But, you know, I think it's about reading the table, and not every guest wants that. But it's about having the knowledge in the team, and especially the front of house team who are brilliant here, you know, to have the knowledge that if somebody does inquire about, oh, what was that, or where is that from, to be like, okay, well, actually, this is the background of it, and this is why we use it, this is why it's important, because this individual has been doing it for, you know, their whole life. Their life has been dedicated to this one craft, and we think that's amazing, and that's why we want to celebrate it. And to be able to explain and tell that story on their behalf as well. But like I said, you know, we don't want to throw that down everyone's throat, because not everybody wants that initially, but it's there if they do want it.
Yes, but a bit of context, you know, is important.
Yeah.
I remember last time I saw you were serving the Hokkaido musk melons.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is like, you kind of want to tell people this is special. You need to like, because it is delicious, but they need to know why
it's delicious. Yeah, and we did, you know, because they were, when you're serving somebody a piece of melon that big, and they're kind of like, they think it's just, you know, a generic cantaloupe or something, and from a market, and you're like, well, no, actually, this is, you know, one tree
for one melon
produces this one melon, you know, and it was something that, and I'll be honest, you know, Tom really wanted to have them on the menu, and at the beginning I was pretty against it. You know, I didn't really see the value in it, or I'd never had them before. He'd had them a couple of times abroad in Japan and various places. I'd never had one, so I thought, a melon's just a melon, right? And then they came, and I had to hold my hands up and be like, yeah, you're right, these are pretty good. And you know, we didn't have them for very long. We brought about 3 shipments over, I think in total 18 or 21 melons or something, and we did it for a month or two. And you know, and again, to be able to share that story and give somebody the opportunity to taste that, because you may never, you know, people aren't going to go to Japan and just go and buy, you know, a very expensive melon. So to be able to give somebody the opportunity to taste it was, you know, pretty special.
A nice story.
Yeah.
Well, thanks a lot for that today, mate. I mean, the food's been amazing. It's been great to have a catch up, as always.
Oh, yeah,
nice to have a chat
good.
and learn.
Yeah.
I learned quite a lot actually this time. It's just been really good, especially about, you know, the history of you guys and yourself, and it's pretty inspirational what you guys are doing here, and where you're going is quite exciting as well. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I think so. I think, you know, it's going to be a big 12 months for us, a big 24 months for us. I think, you know, there's a lot happening, and we don't shout about it a lot. You know, we've not announced a lot of what we have planned coming up, but so I think when it happens, it'll be really exciting.
Cool. Looking forward to it.
Cheers, man.